Hi, welcome to today's Get Activated Call to Action workshop. My name is Latanya Abyss Wallace, and I'm a Hampton Roads activist, founder of Abu Unity Foundation, but I'm also the Reimagining Policing Steering Committee member. This is our second virtual call to action workshop, and these workshops are powered by the Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence toolkit with the goal of educating concerned citizens to take effective action. During today's workshop, we'll discuss who we are as the Virginia Coalition for Transforming Policing, what we do, how to set up a meeting with your elected officials, and then we'll get into the call to action portion of the workshop where we'll draft up our elevator speeches, and then we'll wrap up. So, who we are. Well, the Virginia Reimagined Policing Coalition is a Black-led coalition that is a multiracial collective of grassroots organizations and concerned citizens that are for the betterment of Black lives in Virginia and their experiences with the police. The coalition represents nearly 50 organizations statewide and is focused on transforming policing in Virginia to address harmful policies and redirect funding to the community with the long-term goal of creating communities that are not reliant on the traditional policing systems. Just some reminders for today's workshop, because we want to make sure that you're successful by the end, because your success is our overall success as a collective. By the end of this workshop, we'll complete a call to action. We'll get you engaged in the process, and we'll show you how to take civic action. This is a working session to prepare your elevator speech. So if you have any clarifying questions on the package, or if you need additional help with your speech, please email us at transformpolice@gmail.com. So who represents me? Well, every Virginia is represented by an elected official at multiple levels of government. And to engage in advocacy, a good first step is to learn who represents you. For the purposes of this call to action workshop, we'll be focusing on the state officials in Richmond, but these tactics and skills can be applied at any level of government. In order to find out who represents you, you'll first log on to Who's My Legislator website. And the website address is whosmy.virginiageneralassembly.gov. Once you're on that site, you'll type in your address. This will give you your state and federal representatives. Copy your representative's contact information and save it. Now, if you want to check your voter registration status, or if you want to register to vote, you can do so by going to vote.election.virginia.gov/voter information. And once you're there, you can check your registration status, you can register to vote, you can also request an absentee ballot or update your voting record. All you'll need is your name, date of birth, last four of your social to access your voter profile. Or if you need to register to vote, you will need a DMV issued ID in order to electronically sign your digital voter registration application. So let's walk through an example of looking up our legislator. I'm going to put in the address. I'm going to find now. And right here, I put in the address of 550 30th Street in Newport News. And I can see that my delegate is Delegate Marcia Price of the 95th District. And my state senator is Senator Mamie Locke of the 2nd District. I can also see my U.S. House of Representative, Congressman Bobby Scott, who represents the 3rd congressional district. And I can see my federal U.S. senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner. Now, to get the contact information, you'll click on More Info, and it will present their card that will provide you the Capitol office address along with the office phone number and the email address. Also, if they're in session, it will provide the room number that they'll be in. It will also give you the name of the legislative assistant, who is a great resource if you're unable to reach a representative, because the legislative assistant works directly with the representatives. And here is the district office mailing address along with the district office phone number. So if you need to schedule your appointment, this is the information you will capture. So you make sure you copy and paste this info. And you'll do this for all the representatives that you need to contact and get in contact with. Again, all of the information is available: email, district office, the session office where they're located, and the office phone number, along with the legislative staff. So just make sure before you actually go and schedule your meeting with your elected official, you know who represents you. Now that we know who represents us, let's begin to schedule the meeting. So before scheduling the meeting, you want to choose at least 3 dates to ensure flexibility. It's your elected official's job to represent you in various levels of government, and you can meet with them or their staff to advocate for your issues that are important to you. For state level legislators, you can go to the Capitol in Richmond, or you can meet with them closer to home at their district office. This is often called an in-district meeting. So before you call, make sure you have at least 3 dates to ensure flexibility, and then you want to contact the scheduler in your legislator's district or that Richmond office and ask for an appointment with a legislator or a legislative assistant. Again, when we looked at who's my legislator website, we obtained the contact information for our representatives there. Call, email at least 3 weeks in advance and follow the directions of the scheduler. Provide the scheduler the 3 dates and the issue or issues you want to discuss, along with who will be present during this visit. Confirm the meeting by email or phone 1 or 2 days before the meeting. Some tips is build a relationship. Think about the meeting with your legislator. Think about it as an opportunity to begin building a beautiful relationship. And this encounter will be one of many. Make sure you have a reason to follow up. Be prepared. You can help ensure a positive meeting by taking time to be prepared. Learn about the legislative priorities and study the talking points. Reflect upon why those issues are important to you, and if you have any personal stories you could share during the meeting. Learn about your legislator's position by reviewing past votes and statements on issues, and try to anticipate what kind of questions the legislator will ask or reasons the legislator may already support or oppose your ask. It helps to have responses prepared for opposing arguments and tying the issues into how they affect you and your local community. Always have an ask. Have questions prepared that you want to ask your legislator. You can ask about their position or perspective, or ask what you can do to help them. Again, this is an opportunity to build trust and develop a relationship. Always prepare a reason to follow up. This helps you build this relationship. And then bring a business card with you. Next, you want to stay organized. Use the legislative advocacy meeting task sheet that we will give out following this meeting. We'll have it available on the activatedpeople.com website as a resource. But it's a legislative advocacy meeting task sheet. You can use this to organize your visit. This will include who will be speaking and who will be speaking on which issues if you decide to go in a group. And make sure you allot time for your legislator to talk. So if you're planning out the meeting and you're allotting a certain amount of time for everyone to speak, make sure you carve out time intentionally for your legislator to talk. And respect their time. Legislators and their staffs have packed schedules. They have so many constituents that they're meeting with, and we want to make sure we respect their time. So often schedules are with 15-minute time slots, and you want to always start and end your meetings by thanking them for taking the time out of their busy schedule to meet with you. And then make sure you give them time to talk again. Make clear requests for your actions. Each issue you address, include a clear, actionable request for the legislator to take action. For example, we'd like the legislator, senator, or the delegate to support Bill X. If you are not able to meet the lawmaker directly, relay the ask to the staff member or the legislative aide. The staff plays a critical role in shaping the legislator's agenda and positional issues and will relay this message. So even if you cannot get to your representative directly, make sure you relay it to the legislative aide and the legislative staff. Stay honest and be positive. Be positive, friendly, and thankful to your legislator and the staff with whom you meet. It is common for a legislator to be late or interrupted, so remain calm and flexible. They have busy schedules. It is completely okay to not know an answer to a question. In fact, it gives you a good reason to follow up and keep building the relationship. Trust is a paramount quality and can be lost if you provide false information when you do not know the answer to a question. So do not make up facts or stories. Say you do not know, and we'll get the answer to them, and then follow through on the commitment. You may not agree with your legislative stances on issues, but be sure to remain respectful and be sure to convey your talking points. If appropriate, take a picture. Take a photo with your legislator, make sure you ask, and tweet it out or send it to your colleagues and let them know where your legislators stand or that you had this meeting and the results of that meeting in a social media post. And tag your legislator because they also have a social media presence. And then send a thank you note. After the meeting, send a thank you note or email the legislator expressing your appreciation for his or her time and any support he or she showed during the meeting. Send them additional information if you promise to do so. So far with the tips that you've learned, we learned to build a relationship, be prepared, stay organized, make clear requests for actions, stay honest and positive, take a picture if appropriate, and send a thank you note. Make sure you make the meeting count. Now you want to do the follow-up after your meeting. Your in-person meeting with your legislator is the beginning of a relationship again, so stay in touch. During your meeting, you should have already created a reason to follow up with them, and now it's time to go ahead and follow through with that reason. Send the fact sheets and statistics, then put them in contact with relevant stakeholders or constituents. Be sure to answer any questions they asked of you when you did not have the answer, and forward any relevant endorsements. It is critical to stay engaged and track your legislators' responses to the issues. And if your legislator takes action, express gratitude. If the legislator does not take action, ask for an explanation. So you want to continue to engage them in person, and you can do this by attending their constituent meet and greets or their community forums. They usually announce these during constituent newsletters, or you can ask a staff member the legislative staff for the actual schedule. The public during these events is often welcome to attend so they can engage with their representative. The public is also often welcome to events such as announcements and ribbon cutting ceremonies where officials will be there. And also, while not in person, you can call in. And you can call in if your legislators on the radio or if they're on a TV interview and they have phone numbers where the audience and the viewers can call in, be sure to do so. Next, you want to follow through. If they agree, make sure you organize an event with them. Ask them to appear or speak at an event you have organized around the issue so that the constituents and the community at large can see where they stand, and encourage them to speak out on the issue in public. Now, if they disagree with you, make your voice heard by asking them questions about the issue in public. If possible, film their answer with your phone so you can share it on social media. You can also organize a protest or a press conference outside one of their official events or their office, bringing attention to your issue. And then connect with your elected officials electronically. Most legislators have a social media presence, and this is another way to continue to build those relationships and raise awareness. Find their government website and subscribe to their constituent newsletter or sign up for email alerts so you can stay in the loop. Then like them on Facebook or follow them on Twitter or Instagram and connect with them. You can write or respond on the legislator's official page or tag them in a separate post, but encourage others to also speak out with you and tag the legislator. Videos, pictures, and personal testimony can be especially powerful with both legislators and community members when trying to share out your story and your lived experience and getting people to understand your stance. Now, your elevator speech. You never know who you might end up sharing a short amount of time with at any moment. So be ready with your elevator speech. Prepare and practice your elevator speech. An elevator speech is a clear and brief message you want to share, as well as an ask. We always want to make that ask. Your activism elevator speech says who you are, what you're passionate about, and what you're looking for. Preparing and practicing your elevator speech also helps prepare for public speaking engagements and telling your story effectively, especially if the media is out there and they want to know your position. An elevator speech is quick, usually about 30 seconds or less. Some are 45 seconds to a minute, and it's designed to be delivered in the time it takes to ride from the bottom floor to the top of a building in an elevator. It can be hard to get your message out quickly, and it's important to prepare and practice. So make sure you practice. Write it down, practice it. It's short, but please make sure that you practice. Here's a sample elevator speech. It's a 12-second sample speech of myself. And here it is. My name is LaTanya Wallace, and I'm a member of the Virginia Coalition for Transforming Police. And we're a Black-led coalition that is a multiracial collective of grassroots organizations and concerned citizens from all over Virginia. Will you stand with us on transforming the culture of policing in Virginia? Short, let them know who I was, who I am with, and made an ask. This will lead to more questions, and this will lead to a follow-up, and this will lead to a meeting where you can discuss further your ask, because they're going to want to know more about it, and they're going to want to know a little bit of details and research about whatever issue you are sharing out with them. Now, writing your own elevator speech. Let's write your own. You can say a whole lot in 30 seconds, so don't get scared. So you got to think about, what do you want the people to hear in that short amount of time? Take the time to think about what is important to you. We recommend writing it down and then practicing until you're confident speaking without your notes. This way, when you have the opportunity to speak about the issues you're passionate about, you'll be ready. Some tips to give: do not begin by talking solely about yourself because you can get lost in the story. Instead, open with something powerful that will create value and create the desire to want to follow up, because the first 30 to 45 seconds are crucial. It's advised to begin your first few precious seconds discussing your pains. Then tell a story about you, because we want to make sure we touch the emotional part of their brain and not just the logical. Discoveries in neuroscience prove decision-making is largely emotional and not logical. So we want to persuade the emotional part of that brain. So how do we do this? Let's think about it. You have your delegate, your senator in the elevator or in the hallway, and they're running in between meetings. And you want to discuss divesting in police and reinvesting in community. So what do we say? I would, in the instance, if it was me, I would talk about the stress that I deal with while living in a high crime, under-resourced community that is over-policed. I feel over-policing isn't resolving the reason why people commit crimes. And are you willing to review the budget and look at ways to redirect funds from police weapon programs towards community support services to address the trauma that triggers the violence in these communities? So with that, I will begin with my issue. You want to make sure that you also start, of course, with your name, who you are, and what organization, if any, you're connected to. So in this case, I will begin by, hi, my name is Latanya Wallace, and I am a Reimagining Policing Steering Committee member. And I want to talk with you about me living in a high crime, under-resourced community that is over-policed. I feel policing isn't resolving the reason why people commit crimes in my community. Are you willing to review the budget and look at ways to redirect funds from police weapon programs towards community support services to address the trauma that triggers the violence? So that's 30 to 45 seconds. It will include my name, my organization, my story, and my ask. Again, write your elevator speech, read it over, practice it, and then be ready to share it. Now that we successfully completed our call to action workshop on how to schedule a meeting with our representative, as well as how to write our elevator speech, let's take a look at the special session schedule. Coming up on August 6th, the Joint Committees meeting of courts, the Joint Committee meeting of courts and public safety will meet. And August 8th, the Joint Committee meeting on civilian review boards will meet. And then on August 18th, we will have the special session. You can sign up to speak or send your thoughts in writing by simply going to bit.ly/VA House Calendar. Again, that's bit.ly/VA House Calendar. Now, the URL is case sensitive, so make sure that when you do type in this URL in your browser, use all lowercase. We only used all caps to ensure that you could see it clearly, but ensure when you type it in your browser, be sure to use all lowercase letters. Upcoming events. We do have a press conference coming up on Monday, August 3rd at 11 a.m. And you can register for that press conference by going to bit.ly/pressconf0803. So that's bit.ly/PRESSCONF0803. And go ahead and register. And during the press conference, we will hear testimonies from citizens throughout Virginia who have been impacted by police misconduct or police violence. We'll also have members of the press there so that they can capture the testimonies of our concerned citizens. Now, just to summarize this workshop, what we want you to do next is make sure you go to the Activated People website. Go to the website and sign up on the mailing list so you can stay up to date on all the events and the call to action workshops. Also, be sure to schedule that meeting with your rep. Review the training if you need to. You can play it back live on the Activated People's Facebook page. So make sure you go to Facebook, search the Activated People, find our page, and then press that like button. And go to our live section, and you can review all the pre-recorded live videos. Well, not pre-recorded, but the live videos that has been shared and stored. You can play those back. Now, schedule your meeting with your rep because legislators keep count of constituent communication. And if they don't hear about it, they don't know about it, so they can't vote about it. Practice your elevator speech, show others how to craft theirs, and then activate and mobilize your spaces, friends, and families to make sure our voices are heard. We can do this if we can work together as a collective. So the work continues. So let's make sure our voices are heard. And make sure you email us if you have any questions or if you need any assistance. And that's transform@gmail.com. Thank you.